Welcome back to the Tuscany travel vlog series, where I try to convince you not to skip Tuscany on your Italy travel bucket list. Tuscany, in my opinion, feels very different from the rest of Italy. It's slower, softer, and quieter, but in the most meaningful way. And while places like the Amalfi Coast or Positano tend to get all the attention, this region has a magic of its own. In my last video, I shared all the dreamy details about where we stayed. I shared how our stay in Lupaya made our time in Tuscany feel like a honeymoon straight out of a fairy tale. But today, we'll dive even deeper into what makes Tuscany so special. Because the best way to understand a place is to cook in it and to connect with the land that sustains it. So I want to tell you all about our day at Podere Il Casale, which is where we learn how to make fresh pasta by hand. So if you're planning a trip to Italy and you're wondering if Tuscany is worth adding to your itinerary, let this be your sign, because what you'll find here is something truly rare, a deeper connection and love towards Italy. There are so many amazing places around Italy where you can take a cooking or pasta making class. It's such a fun and immersive way to experience Italian culture, but how do you even decide which one to do? In Rome, it feels like you're cooking at a chaotic backyard party where it's lively, loud, and right in the middle of a bustling city. Venice has a totally different energy. It's quiet and refined, luxurious even. And then on the Amalfi Coast and in Positano, the vibe is more coastal and summery, so it's perfect for the younger crowd or a girls' trip. And listen, if you're chronically online on TikTok like me, you've definitely heard of La Tagliata, which is less of a cooking class and more like a full-blown daytime party with food and dancing. So honestly, you can't really go wrong with choosing a cooking class because they all have something unique and special to offer. But I want to tell you what makes Podere Il Casale special and different from the rest. Podere Il Casale is a beautiful rustic farm tucked away in the hills of Val d'Orcia, which is one of the most visually stunning regions in all of Italy. If you haven't heard of it before, Val d'Orcia is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famous for its rolling hills, cypress-lined roads, and cinematic landscapes. So from the get-go, it already wins major points just for the dreamy setting alone. But what really sets this place apart is that it's not just a cooking class, it's a real, working, organic farm. So you're not just in a kitchen, you are immersed in a fully operational, biodynamic farm overlooking the Val d'Orcia. So many places claim to be farm to table, but end up sourcing ingredients externally. But here, everything you cook is grown, produced, or raised on site. They produce their own cheese and olive oil, and you can use these ingredients in your class. What I also loved was their pace. Everything about the experience felt slow, intentional, and intimate. A lot of cooking classes can feel rushed or perhaps too commercial, but Podere Il Casale likes to keep things intimate and relaxed. Their entire class lasted about 5 hours, and it really felt like a family inviting you in to cook with them rather than just a company trying to run a business. And finally, you walk away with more than just a new pasta recipe. This class often includes a tour of the farm, a trip to their cheese-making room, and they take the time to explain their perspectives on sustainability, slow food, and Tuscan culture. So it goes beyond the usual, let's learn to make pasta, and gets into why food matters and what it means to them. It was raining the day we booked our cooking class, so unfortunately we had to skip a few things because of the downpour. On a typical day, we would have gone out to pick our own herbs and vegetables and visited the farm to see all the animals they raised, but the weather did not cooperate. So instead, we started with a tour of their cheese room before diving into the cooking itself. The farm has a lot of sheep and goats, which means that they're able to produce an impressive variety of artisanal raw milk cheeses like Pecorino, Caprino, and Ricotta. So this part of the tour was actually super informative, and I'm really glad we got to learn something about the cheese making process and everything that goes into it. After that, we headed into one of their kitchens where we would be making our lunch for the day. The plan was to cook a full 4-course meal: fresh hand-rolled pasta called pisci, roasted vegetables, a loin chop, and cookies for dessert. Since the rain kept us from gathering the ingredients ourselves, the team brought everything fresh straight to us. We each got a bowl of flour, water, and some of the farm's homemade olive oil. And just like that, class was in session. So this was our first time making pasta by hand, and the lady said, make worms, not snakes, which is apparently what all the Italian nonnas say. I didn't get what that meant at first, and then I realized that once you start rolling by hand, it can really stretch to infinity. So it was a learning curve, but eventually I got the hang of it. This was such a good cooking class. We enjoyed every single minute of it, and I highly recommend it to anyone going to Italy. If you're watching this and you've done this class before, or if you're planning to experience this in the future, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts. In my next video about Tuscany, I'll be sharing all the places we explored in this region, from charming little towns to the best photo and food spots around Valdorcia and Montepulciano. Plus, I also want to share what we thought of each place. So if you're looking for more travel inspiration, I'd love to see you in the next one.